Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first video cast or game cast of Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 within the latest patch something something, which is changing the boarding mechanics. Now there's a bunch of other changes too. We're going to be doing patch notes and patch overviews, etc. in other videos, but this is going to be another cast game. I'm going to be playing as your Astartes, the dreaded Astartes, with their horrible boarding mechanics. Well, I say that, it's not actually that bad. Now, first mistake of the day, we go ahead and use the Emperor's Tarot on a little escort over there, and actually if you click on the little red dots, if you can't target any system components, well, then you know it's probably going to be an escort. So basically I've wasted that to begin with, but hey, I can now see his escort. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. So you'll see me focusing on a little bit of map control early on. We've got 2 escorts, so not a lot, but they are pretty damn quick, and we can use them to get a little bit of early map control. Now we do have torpedoes on my flagship. I believe the others I'm rocking are Mark III cruisers, and yep, that's right, I'm just checking which tower we're against. We are against the merchants, so do want to be a little bit careful using boarding torpedoes against these guys. Why is that? Stand ready. Well, basically because they have enough fighters of their own to defend against them quite effectively, assuming they use them defensively. So basically boarding torpedoes against them, if you're just spamming torpedoes, chances are not a single one is going to go through. So we need to be a little bit smarter about how we use these. So capturing points thus far, we've taken advantage of our speed in order to get a little bit further ahead. This is looking good. We have our first Stormhawk squad, or rather our second actually. We're placing these defensively on our units. Even though I can only put out 1 squad at a time, of 3 squads rather, 1 unit of 3 squads, there is enough of a cooldown so that there will be 2 on a ship at any given time, assuming I'm using them to defend. So this is quite helpful, and even though the enemy's probably got a lot more, it means I've got 6 squadrons there defending me, so should be able to keep some enemy fighters off of my tail, and hopefully something will put to good use. I would strongly suggest, if you don't have enough fighters to be aggressive with, be defensive with them, especially when you know an enemy is something like a Tau or an Elder, something that's going to be putting torpedoes your way, even the Imperial Navy. Very, very, very gimped once you put them against a fleet which has a lot of fighters on the D. Now, you'll see we're also going for that right-hand swiggity-swoody capture point. We're going to try and take that, and we are looking to capture, there we go, there's the old little probe. Going to try and take that just simply so he can't be shooting at my ships. So that's all very well and good. We're just going to kite this off into the sunset now. The 83 armour combined with the fairly sort of robustness of these ships means that they're pretty hard to take down. Now we do have torpedoes on these little escorts, and it does seem that I may have forgotten, but bigger priority right now than that is to ram the fish. As you can see, my higher mass and higher armour means, well, it's basically a free kill if I can ram it enough. It's just so much fun to do. Anyway, we should probably get on and look at the rest of the ships in this battle. Let's see what we got going on. More fish shooting at me over there, and we can go ahead and sneak up the left. Now we did see earlier on into the asteroid field a demiurge went flying, and we need to be a little bit careful of that because, well, it has a cutting beam that can cut through armour like a knife through butter. So, well, got to be a little bit cautious. Now we're going for the one final round just to start taking down shields. We can go ahead and capture now. There is another unit over there somewhere, but it does seem that not everyone's as gun-ho with ramming as I am. So we've nearly killed one of our own escorts, but we've taken down one of the enemies. So that's a 30-point gain for us, or 32, or something like that. But still well worth doing, and as I say, loads and loads of fun. So we're on a decap over here, which is going to give us 4 points in total. A nice juicy lead of points coming on in. Shields are nearly repaired there for the escort as well. The gorgeous little Nova, and it looks like a little bit more ramming is coming our way. Aha! A couple of enemy light cruisers to be spied, and I think it's time for our cruisers to actually do a little bit of work. We do have those front-facing lance weapons, which are slowly chipping down the shields. They'll probably, by about next month, be able to whittle them down. Space Marine damage really is utterly atrocious. Even if you go for the damage-orientated ships, you'll be there all week. At least that's how it feels to me. It might just be the fact that their ships are fairly expensive. It might just be the fact that I keep using the battle barge. So we're going to use a tarot on the demiurge, and that way we're going to keep an eye on it. So fighters are coming out. We're going to do a little bit of kiting. It does seem that all the fighters in the world are coming out, so that's not too good. So in this position, you've got a few choices as to what you want to do. My choice, I have micro warp jump, is to buy as much time as we can. This is going to allow our cruisers to relocate, so we're going to head away. We've put on our thrust, and we're going to use Honour the Chapter here to try and take down some ships, combined with supporting actions too. So here you can see it still goes down pretty damn quick. He's gone on call to arms, but you can see his slowly ticking down, and we have our other flagship over here heading on over. Now we're going to put him over here on the right hand side, safe from all the fighters. It's going to buy him lots and lots of time. These guys are going to head in the gas cloud. Now one thing we need to do is we need to take down this escort very fast, which we're doing with our Honour the Chapter. Why prioritise Honour the Chapter here? Well, basically because it has infinite cooldown, so you don't need to worry too much. Could have used supporting action though. So what I'm doing now is sending that battle barge into the gas cloud to break line of sight with the fighters, just to buy some time. I probably could have sent it in the gas cloud up top. That might have been an option, but hey, I'm quite happy right now to just break them off. And there you go. Now I've made it into the cloud. We're going to be A-okay. We're going to put more fighters over into this squadron here, because I think they're going to be on the receiving end of a lot more of the enemy's fighters, so we're going to need to be cautious with those. We put a few fires on the light cruisers. They're pretty low on troops too, so this is looking good. Try and get a little bit of range, so seeing as he has marked me, and the Demiurge is heading in. We can also hear that noise signifying more fighter squads have been sent out, and this could go downhill for us very quickly. Simply put, we have a lot of units, and they're actually quite easy to take down for some of these bombers if they're able to get a few runs off, especially one of these waves. If they're able to do what they want to do, they would basically strip all of my turrets down, and then I'd just be easy pickings for him. So we do need to still be a little bit cautious. You could ask, maybe why Hydra have you not just charged in? Well, again, with a Demiurge and with a flagship, it's still fairly dangerous, and I'm feeling cautious play is most likely going to see me to a victory. So we have some more fighters we can send in here. That's going to be 2 squadrons looking after my ships, and that should hopefully be enough to try and keep them alive. Now, if we can get that turret down, a few lightning strikes would be nice. And one pesky little escort here that seems determined to try and challenge my territory, but I am a bigger fish, and I will slap him on the face. Still trying to take down the shields. If we come back in about 10 minutes, then, well, we might be a little bit closer. It does seem that my fighters may have been taken down by his. I could be wrong, but that seems like it could be the case. Now, we're slowly heading in. The shields are going down. Looks like the boarding action is attempting. Okay, one ship taken down. Boarding torpedoes heading on in. Doesn't look like they're going to make it. Oh, there we are. We managed to connect a couple. And I think it's time to use a little bit of Honour the Chapter, perhaps. Our ships are taking a hell of a pounding in terms of damage. That was that cutting beam there coming in. 12 stacks placed down. 11 stacks on that Demiurge. He's gone into call to arms, which is going to nullify, well, at least reduce quite a lot of the damage. Got more boarding torpedoes coming in too from the flagship. That's going to bring it back up to 13 stacks now. That's going to take his troops down significantly. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any fighters in here, but I am able to kite his bombers around, and it seems I'm just able to avoid them, which is lucky for me. Now, we don't have any more boarding actions, but we have slowly been sneaking our units over here. Quite why I went to select fighters there, I'm not entirely sure. Boarding torpedoes we've also sent over as well, because even though 11 stacks in the call to arms might not be enough, so that's now absolutely plenty. I think the extra squadron there of torpedoes, boarding torpedoes, was just not worth it, or boarding interceptor, whatever the hell they're called. So he's mutinied, he's not going anywhere now. He's going to be losing the majority of his troops. Send in the battle barge now to do a little bit of ramming. I think we can now forget about the Demiurge and start to focus on ramming, but a little mistake from me. I didn't have the engine thrusters at full capacity, so we weren't able to get some spicy rams off. Instead, the Tau is going to get some nice rams on me with that 83 frontal armour. When the shield generator's working, those Tau ships can still hit pretty hard. A little bit more slapping needs to be done here. A little wiggle to the left. Little wiggle to the left. Come on, little wiggle, wiggle it, Bob. Wiggle it there. So satisfying. Now, we are down to 3 points, and we haven't been micromanaging these escorts particularly well, but we have one cruiser heading on down there, down towards safety. It looks like we can do another boarding action and try and focus on these 2 larger ships. We're creeping ahead in terms of points here, but really things I don't think are quite over just yet. We've got bombers coming in here. I could quite easily lose a cruiser. but his flagship is getting fairly low. I don't know if I've taken down the deck. If I have, it will mean he won't be able to execute. We do have some fighters coming in to support over there on the left. This is lovely and chaotic. Absolutely stuff going on everywhere. But this is really how I like it. If you can spread an enemy out a little bit, or if they will follow you in spreading out, I personally find the game a lot more enjoyable than these sort of clumped mono fleets, but looking pretty good. We've got one enemy over here on the right hand side. Looks like we need to chase him down really, so off we go. We have our lightning strike with the Calixtus assassin, which we're ready to use as well. That's going to do a whopping amount of morale damage and hopefully send them scurrying off back to the greater good fairly soon. So points still creeping in my favour. We're a good sort of 400 to 500 away, and it does seem now that the battle's starting to sort of wrap up in my favour. We have 2 enemy ships still. The Demiurge is repopulated, but it's so low on troops now that it really can't do much. The call to arms definitely helped to a degree, however it's not been enough to really save it. Do excuse me. We're able to make our way out of the drifting hulk, and it does seem that perhaps the only thing I think that may have helped the enemy in this position is having enough of those escorts and helping to repopulate some of these ships. That may have helped a little bit, because remember, you can now move crew from escorts to your other ships, and some of these Tau ships have 7 crew. It's actually quite a lot and can be really, really useful. So we have boarding torpedoes, which we're finally putting to good use. It's a little late in the day to be doing so. Just waiting for our boarding actions to come into play here, and it looks like we'll be finishing these ships off. I will hang around here. We're not going to wrap up the game just yet, because I want to see some torpedoes hit some Demiurge bastions. Or is that a stronghold? Actually, that is a big ship. That is a big, healthy ship. Fortunately, I feel like we've been able to avoid some of the scariest stuff from it. Some torpedoes have come my way, but we've been able to avoid the majority. Cutting Beam did quite literally cut through quite a few of my ships, but we were able to sort of just about hang in there. Now, 1 ship left to take down. Going to send in some bombers just to try and finish it, because 1 boarding action here should be enough to try and take down the Tau. Little cheeky ram too. And lightning strike to finish off, perhaps? No, not necessary. Aha, here comes the scuttle, the predictable scuttle. I think even with those 2, if I were to stomach them, do have a lightning strike at that just to whop out of there, and that seems to be game, set and match. Guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you like the new boarding system. Space Marines still very strong. Battle Bargee is still quite a bit of fun to use, I think. A bit of a meme, but I like it. Have yourself a great day, guys. See you next time.